It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and, well, revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard-working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Sheila. She's here. She's in the building. And she'll be talking about from silence to strength, really her journey from healing to determination. I can't wait to find out about that. What's going on, Sheila? How you doing?
I'm great, Shay. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to have this opportunity to be able to share my story and
I'm
hopefully
happy to
help
have you
someone.
here. I'm happy to have you here. You're awesome. Shout out to Renee, who connected us together, by the way. She's a rock star. Folks are
Yeah.
hearing or watching. They may not have read your bio, okay? I know you're famous all over the world, but some folks don't know you in this audience, okay? So we'll get to your bio in a minute, and some people already Googled you. But take a moment. You got healing and determination. What does healing even mean these days? Did someone stomp their toe when you talk about healing? Why are people struggling to heal these days? And what is your definition of healing?
My definition of healing is healing from soul hurts. Being damaged mentally, physically, spiritually, and healing from that process and how I did it and how you can go about help, doing the same thing for yourself.
Whoa, you dropped some heavy bombs there. There's some folks saying, Shay, I didn't know who this person is. She's talking about healing, damage, mentally, physically, from being broken. Oh no, what's the story here? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get right to it. Take a moment if you would. You know what they want. They want to know what's the backstory of who are you and what's the backstory that led you to this defining moment. Please take a moment and talk to us, please.
Sure. I'm African American woman, as you can see, who grew up in a small town, Wilmington, Delaware. But I grew up in a family of incest, rape, molestation. I grew up like Steely says in The Color Purple, a girl child is not safe in a family of men. So I went through a lot of sexual abuse, mental abuse, being called a liar, even when I told on my abusers. My mother passing away, being shipped off to other family members who said, sweep it underneath the rug. So my whole journey has been about getting back from that place. And that is why I say I was at the place, I was being at the place called determined, that even though all these things were happening in my life, there was still something deep down on the inside of me that says I want to live. I want to live. Even though I had moments that I wanted to die, even though I had moments where I felt insignificant, invisible, no one cared, I still had something down on the inside of me that said, I want to live. I became determined. I became determined to go on, even though I was hurting, even though I was struggling with the issues of the abuse. I turned to drugs, I turned to alcohol, I turned to men, I turned to women. I mean, I went through such a journey of just trying to get back. I thank God that I eventually did get back, and I got back through my relationship through Jesus Christ. So this was how I made it back, but it was a whole lot of hurt, and it was a whole lot of struggle getting back. It wasn't real easy. It didn't happen overnight. This was something like 20 plus years ago. I really did not even start that journey of healing until I was 44, and I am 68 now, and I'll be 69 next month. So it took a while.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It took a while to actually go through that process and to understand my value, my worth, to see that I was pretty, I wasn't ugly, that I wasn't a liar, I wasn't all the things that I was being called based on the things that I had to do in order to even survive. So it's been a long and struggling process, but I thank God that I am on that journey now. I'm at that place called determined, and I'm determined to even be better today than I was yesterday.
Oh, powerful statement. Thanks for being so authentic with us. Probably a loaded question, but what would you say to the young lady who, or male, could be a male that's under 21 that's watching right now? They could be on any one of the streaming platforms. They're like, that's me. I'm going through this now. Again, this is a loaded question, ladies and gentlemen. But what's one, two, or three things that, if you were speaking directly to that person, that you would tell them the steps that they should start taking? Again, it's a loaded question. We're not here for counseling, ladies and gentlemen, but here's someone who's been there. So if you had a chance to talk to them, what would you say?
I would say number one, ask for help. Number two, tell your story, expose it. Do not stuff it, don't hide it, don't walk around carrying it as if it was your own, the trauma and the abuse, because it's not yours. It's not your fault. Things have happened to you in your life, and you need to expose it. And I think that's the biggest problem, that we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to tell it. But I definitely would recommend you asking for help and asking to speak to someone objectively, because we feel embarrassed when we talk to friends or family members, because we don't want people to know what we've gone through or how we're hurting. But the biggest thing is to ask for help and to tell it, to expose it.
Wow, that was like whew, heavy, but spot on. I love it. To the person that's saying, that's grown now, whatever grown is, over 21, they're an adult, and they're listening, and they're like, I'm dealing with someone who's been through what she's been through. Maybe not the same exact thing, but the person is healing. There's some things happening in their childhood. How can someone support someone that's been through that to kind of, and not say help them, but really help them transition and trust and believe in them as a person? Again, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're all in different places and different spaces, and she's not here to do counseling, but she could probably help someone right now that's dealing with someone that's broken, that's been through some challenges. And how can we help someone who's been through that, especially when they're a loved one or a spouse? What would you say to that
I
group?
know. Well, the biggest thing for me was, I had to actually get my relationship with God together, because I carried so much guilt and shame about all the things that took place in my life, and on top of that, the things that I did in my addiction. So I really had to come up out of that stigma of shame and guilt. And the only way that I was able to accomplish that was establishing my relationship with God, because I thought that I wasn't even worthy of God. I didn't think that God loved me, because if he did, where was he? Why was he allowing all these things to go on and happen in my life? Why is this happening to me over and over and over again? So you have got to get around, especially a group of people that, hey, say, have gone through the same things that you've gone through. It makes it easier to talk with someone that has gone through what you've gone through, because they are the best ones to help guide you through that process. And being that I've been where some people have been, my process, as I said before, would be to get your spiritual relationship together. Because when you get rooted and grounded back in God and know how much he loves you, how much he cares for you, that can help you open up, and it can help you ease a lot of that pain and reach that place of peace.
And so now that you've been through it, what is one of your big whys in the world today? What are you going to be up to?
What am I going to be up to? I'm going to be up to doing my very best to help as many men and women. I go on Facebook every Monday morning,
Wow.
and I do a Monday live, where I'm actually bringing forth the word of God, ministering into people's lives. That's my biggest desire, is to help people come to know God through his son, Jesus Christ. That has been a determining factor for me, for my healing, for me being on this journey, being at this place called Determined, as well as, and I have to add this in there, being a part of Black Women Who Want More.
Yes, absolutely. And to talk about Renee, if we can for a moment, let's go back to determine. How are
Yeah.
you able to persevere when you don't have all the answers? I mean, one of the things I admire about you is that your ability to be able to take action, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you might be
Yeah.
fearful. So the question I'm asking is, do you have affirmations? What do you tell yourself? How are you able to keep going when you're not clear on the path you're on?
Well, I trust God. I pray. I do a lot of praying, a lot of praying. I do a lot of confessing of the word of God over my life. I search the Bible out for the word that applies to my situation. And I confess that over myself every day. I confess that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I confess that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I confess that I am righteous and holy because of what Christ has done. I confess and say what God says because I don't know all of the answers, but I know that God does. Because what I don't know, He is all wise and He already knows the end from the beginning. So I trust Him.
Mm. Yeah, I love it, but I love it. And as you're on this journey of helping other folks become the best version of themselves, have you had any mentors along this journey that's given you some advice? And if so, what's one or two mentors you've had that's really had an impact on your life?
Well, the first mentor I would say would been my godfather, Bishop Roger Woodard Sr., who's passed away now, and his wife, prophetess Dr. Donna Woodard, my godmother. She's still alive. She made a great impact in my life spiritually. She helped me to navigate my process through learning and knowing God and having a relationship with Him, and definitely learning how to pray and stay in the Word. And of course, my next mentor is Renee Toppin. I mean, it took some years to God for God to bring this awesome woman in my life. But since she's been a part of my life, so much about myself has changed. I have become even better in my spirituality. I've become even better in what I do in the world. I've become a much better person. And it's all because of Black women who want more showing me my potential, because I really, even though being saved, because I just need to make this clear. See, we can be saved and we can know Jesus Christ and we can know God, and we still at a place of hurt and brokenness because we're not receiving all that we need a lot of times, and that's just being truthful. A lot of times in our churches we're not receiving all that we need, and a lot of times what you need might be outside. And for me, Black women who want more was that outside help. And once I got a part of this organization, God was able to really, really, really work in my life, opening my eyes to financial issues, opening my eyes to spiritual issues, opening my eyes to physical things. I mean, my whole lifestyle has changed. What I eat, how I dress, everything has changed, and it has changed for the better. It has changed for the better. So I'm just so grateful to Renee for knowing her. She's just my little sister because I'm older than Renee. She's my little sister, and but she's a great big woman in heart and spirit, and she does have such a love for us. And I think that's what has really made a difference as well, the love that this woman genuinely has for us.
Talk about, and Renee's amazing. You've part of a number of groups that supported you and mentors. Talk about the power of collaboration, the importance of being in a community that is kind of hard to do it by yourself. So whether you've been through challenges such as you have in your life, or you're someone that hasn't, but just the power of collaborating, the power of working with other folks. Take a moment to talk about the power of being in a group of other folks who can uplift you.
Well, it definitely takes a village. You're not going to do anything by yourself, all by yourself. We're not that powerful. So we do need the collaboration, and we need the collaboration from all levels of life, not just the spiritual level, but we need it from the worldly level at times. We need it from the psychological level. We need it from any resource that we can get that can help push us and bring us into our healthy and wealthy place. So, collaboration with others is so very important. I mean, even on the job that I work at right now, and I'm a master case manager. So, there are so many women and men there that have been an influence in my life, informational wise, to help me to be able to work with the young people that I work with who are prone to gun violence, either have shot someone or been shot. I mean, so it is very important to have a village around you. Okay. If you don't have that village, you're pretty much out there on an island all by yourself. And I'm reminded of a song or a saying we did when we were kids, that no man is an island, no man stands alone. Each man for his brother, and that's just so true because we all need one another. We all need one another. So it's important to love. It's important to respect. It's important to honor, even when people don't see things the way you see them or do things the way that you do them. I think that love is what brings everything together.
Well said, by the way. And how does forgiveness fit into all of this, by the way? Does it play a part in the healing process? And if so, how does it?
Forgiveness is at the top of the list.
Whoa.
I had to forgive my father who molested me at 7. I had to forgive my cousin who raped me at 13. I had to forgive my uncles who were grooming me to allow them to have sex with me. I had to forgive men that raped me on the streets, pulled me in cars, or pulled trains on me, as they say in the world. Forgiveness is at the top of the list because if you don't forgive, you're going to continue to walk around with that same hurt and trauma inside of you. It's going to be trapped in you. Every time you hear the person's name, you're going to explode. Anytime someone says something good about them, you're going to fall all apart. Because just because of what they did to you might not mean they did that to somebody else. So forgiveness is got to be at the top. It has got to be at the top. And my relationship with Christ taught me that because Jesus took all my sins that I should have taken, but he took them all from me. And if he can do that for me and redeem me and clean me up, then who am I not to forgive others that have done things to me? Because hurt people hurt people. So it's not always just somebody woke up today to say, I'm going to be a rapist. It's not always that someone woke up today to say, I'm going to molest my child. There's some issues and some things that have happened in their life that have brought them to that place. So forgiveness is so important so that we all can heal.
I love it, by the way. And for the person that's a little more senior that's listening right now, that's wondering, wow, is it too late for me? I'm over 40. I'm over 50. Is it too late for me to forgive and move on with my life and have a second opportunity? What would you say to that person that's listening and they're like, I've been talking about doing it, but I haven't been doing it? So 2-part question. One, is it too late? And 2, talk about the importance of being consistent on their journey.
Absolutely not. It's never too late. You must do it. It is imperative that you do it because when you do that, when you do that process, it's going to start the healing in you first, and then it'll help the other person that you forgive. I mean, and and I shouldn't even say that because a lot of times when we forgive others, it shouldn't even matter whether or not they change or not. But the point is definitely be on that journey to forgive. And I'm sorry, the second part of the question.
You answered the question. The first part of the question was, is it too late? And the second part of the
No.
question was really about consistency. I mean, one of the things that I've heard that you're able to do is once you got on track is you're being able to be consistent, right? So you're being consistent. But what I'd like for you to talk about, what about the person says, I was doing good. I was doing what I was supposed to do, but now I'm off track again. And I've had a setback. And they feel embarrassed. And ladies and gentlemen, I've been there before. I've, thought I was doing some good things. And all of a sudden, I guess she talked about church, like kind of backslid, I'll call it that. And there's this shame and hurt and you start ducking people. That's not people out there. That's just Shay Brown, I'm sure. But take a moment for the person that says, I was on the right track. I like what she's saying, but I've kind of slid back a little bit and I'm embarrassed. What would you say to that person that needs to get back on track and do the right thing?
Just get back on track and do the right thing. That's all. I mean, that's all I can say to you. You've got to forgive yourself because God already does. If you come to Him and you say, "Lord, forgive me. I've messed up. I've turned back and went down that same road again. But I can see now, God, my mistake. Lord, come back into my heart. Heal me once again." And He's right there to do that. So it's never too late to forgive. And no, you should just stop. You should stop doing what you're doing and come back. Just come back. You don't have to waste a whole lot of time. It's when we allow that shame and that guilt to hold us captive and to hold us keep us in a stronghold. That's what really happens, is that shame and that embarrassment can have a stronghold over your life. So you've got to break that stronghold by just stepping out, saying enough's enough. I'm tired of feeling like I'm feeling. I'm tired of going through what I'm going through. I'm tired of crying about the same old thing. I'm at this place called determined, and I am going to just let this thing go, and I'm going to move forward.
I love it, by the way. One of the questions I get to ask folks when we have time, we have a few minutes here, and that is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? Now, I'm not asking you to come off the mountain with the 10 commandments, okay, ladies and gentlemen. I'll frame it for the audience that you've had years of experience. You talked about two of the great folks that were mentors to you early on. By the way, you've had other mentors along this journey of life. You didn't get here by yourself. But if you had to step back and say, man, of all the books I've read, of all the videos I've watched, of all the trainings I've had, if I had to say this is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given, what is that advice and why is it so near and dear to your heart?
I think the best advice I've ever gotten is to love your enemies,
Oh,
because
wow.
when you love your enemies, I'm telling you, it takes the stress and the weight off of you. Because you never know how that love can actually turn the whole situation around. And it could actually bless that person that you're hating so much, so that it could bring them to a place of repentance, a place of remorse. It could actually save them. So the best piece of advice I ever got was love your enemies, man. Just love them, love people.
What do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days? You seem to be having fun. I mean, you start lighting up, you start talking about it. I see the whole energy pop up. We were behind the scenes. You were like, okay, I'm ready. Let's get this show on the road. What do you enjoy about what you're doing these days?
I enjoy mostly just encouraging people. That is one of my gifts, to be an encourager. I love encouraging people all day long at my office. People are knocking on my door. Can I come in? Can you pray with me? Can you talk to me? Can I get your advice about this? And it's not a boast or a brag, but it is a gift that I've been given, and I love the fact that I'm able to sit down and listen to what a person is saying, help them process. Because see, I don't tell you what to do. I just help you process and work through it. Because basically, folk already have the answer deep down inside. They just need somebody to help pull it out of them. So I love it. I love being able to talk with people and to encourage them and bring them into their best person that they could ever be.
What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world, making people be the best person they could
Oh
possibly
gosh.
be?
I hang out with my husband.
Well, that's a good
we
thing.
go Yeah, we go on vacations, things like that. Cruises, we love a cruise.
Okay, what's
And
now you
he
can't leave us hanging. Everybody's leaning forward saying, what's one of our favorite places to cruise? You love cruises. They're just curious. Like, what's one place that you really enjoy going? What's one cruise or one country you enjoy visiting?
well, the place that we really enjoyed going, it wasn't a cruise, but we loved going to Jamaica. We did an 11-day resort. So it was
11
really,
days?
really nice. Yeah, 11 days we were at a resort called Dunn's River Falls in Jamaica. It was so awesome.
All right, now shout out to your husband. She having memories over here. She's got the big smile on her face. She remembers that place. That's kind of cool. As we come down the home stretch, two-part question. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with? I'm not sure if you're working with any clients these days. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? Where can they go if they want to stay in this conversation and get to know more about you and what you're doing?
So the kind of clients that I do want to work with are women that are dealing with uh, sexual trauma, past sexual trauma in their life. And really, I want to deal with women that have been carrying this for a long time and just kind of like going through life like nothing's happening. But because of this sexual trauma, they can't even actually have a healthy relationship with their husband. They can't give their son a hug without thinking about it. Those types of women I would love to work with, or men, because some men have been sexually abused as well, and it's very hard for them to talk about that. But when I was working in the prison system, I was able to connect with young men that had sexual trauma and was able to help them pull a lot of that out and talk about it. And the best way that you can connect with me at this point is on Facebook. My Facebook page is Sheila Marie Boone. And just hit me up on Facebook. I'm right there.
Well, let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Shout out to Renee for connecting us.
Oh, thank you, Shay. It was a pleasure. I had a ball.
I had a ball as well, by the way. And thank you to viewers for allowing us to be in your home right now, whether you're listening to us on a podcast, maybe you're in the car, maybe you're on the plane, maybe you're at the gym, or maybe we're streaming on your device right now. You're holding your phone and watching it, or you're listening to it on the iPad while you're cooking. Thank you so much, because we know without you, well, we don't have a show. So thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate that. And I never get tired of reminding you, every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life right now, that you are truly someone that's special. You are unique. You're here for a purpose. You're here to make a difference to someone else. And that's not a lot of fluff, raw. That's the honest truth. And no matter what's going on in your life, whether right now you're doing really well and there's a whole nother level to get to, or you've been hit with a punch that you never saw coming. The one thing I believe in the bottom of my heart is that today is your January 1st. No matter what the date is, and because of just that one reason, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name, it hasn't changed. It's still Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. We'll make some good things how we connect again next time. God bless. Thanks a lot, Sheila. You rock. Peace, everybody. We out.